Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. If you couldn't join and this is you listening to the recording, welcome virtually from the past. I promised that we're going to talk about the different roadblocks to your weight loss journey. And I'm guaranteeing you are going to walk out of this presentation having a personalized game plan to approach your weight loss in a way that you never did before. So before we get started, I want to ask you a few questions here. Okay. So I want you to type in the chat. I know the chat is not going to be on the screen, but I can see what you're typing in here. I want to know, for you, who are you doing this for? Because when I have a discovery session with the client to really build that practitioner-client relationship, I need to meet you where you are. So I want to know what are the things that's motivating you? Where is your mind at so that I can better support you? So number one question is, I want to know you're on this weight loss journey. You're certainly seeking support for weight loss. Then who are you doing this for? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think on that. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think on that before we get started. You can type your question in the chat. I'm going to check the comments momentarily, and I'm going to get to know you better that way. So who are you doing this for? Are you doing this for your loved one? Are you doing this for yourself? Or are you doing this for your career? I don't know. Now, the second question I want to know, why you want to do this, is why do you want to lose weight? Okay. Maybe if you can't think about why you want to lose weight, maybe this is an alternative question for you to ponder on. What does weight loss mean to you? For some people, it's for better health. And for some people, it's to simply enjoy the pair of new jeans, the new swimming suit. Whatever motivates you, I want you to let me know in the chat. I want to know what is motivating you. Okay. So from my years of practice, the way I see how the body is holding on weight is because fundamentally, the body is seeking emotional safety, and that is a way for the body to survive. Our body is a vessel that contains our emotions, and fat is a form of protection that the body builds around you like an armor. So when there is weight that is not shifting for you. So first, of course, we're going to look at the physical aspect, your endocrine system, your diet and nutrition. But most importantly, if all the pieces are working, are in place for you, one core reason is you may be holding something back emotionally. Your body is trying to keep you safe. So the reason why I want to share with you guys is I want to also ask you these questions is I also would like to share with you about my philosophy. When working with my client on their weight loss journey, I really am so curious to find out where your mind is at, because fundamentally, I believing in weight loss journey is a form of self-care. This is not doing for anyone else. This is not doing to please anyone else. This is just for yourself. And it's a way to investing in your wellness. Our body is a way, it's a channel for us to connect with our emotions by tapping into the body's wisdom to figure out exactly why your body is holding on this weight and what are the things that we need to support for you to achieve long-lasting results. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be a fat diet if you're listening. It's not going to be something restrictive, and that is actually going to be something that is not going to be easy because there's going to be work involved. It's not easy, but it's something that's going to build positive momentum for you. And when you support the body and love your body, have a healthy relationship with your body, this is where that positive emotions and the positive momentum is going to give you long-lasting results. We're here to find a suitable way for you, not what is the right way or what's the wrong way. I don't care. What I care about is finding that suitable method, suitable way to support you where you are, because you are perfectly exactly where you are, right place to start right now. So why should you listening to me babbling for the next hour? So here is a little bit about me. My name is Talia. I'm the founder of Talia Sage Wellness. I'm a registered natural therapist, a certified nutritional practitioner. And yeah, if you want to read more on my bio, go ahead. My clinical focus, what brings me passion in life, is to teach people to get to know their health, get to know their body by learning about their endocrine system and supporting their health by giving their body endocrine support and metabolic support. This is the two areas that I find is so important, and so many people struggle with endocrine system issues such as autoimmune of the thyroid, and I've got people with diabetes and also people with adrenal fatigue. So all of those will fall under what the endocrine system would help us. Okay, so now let's get right into the meat of the topic here. I want to talk to you about a few typologies. So now you may fit a few of these categories. The goal is to find out, okay, what is your main one? And hopefully we can have a further discussion on how to support that, okay? So today we're going to learn about some insights on what is your body trying to tell you, and hopefully give you some inspiration on the most efficient path, the most suitable path for you to achieve long-lasting and good momentum, long-lasting results and good momentum. So the number one, I would say the top kind of roadblock for clients to achieve sustainable results is the stress belly. So what that looks like is an apron of fat that clients call it the first to come, then the last to go. It sits around the lower stomach and is usually quite solid, okay? So what do I mean by first to come, last to go? First to come means whenever, okay, whenever diet slips up a little bit, maybe there's a stressful stuff coming up in your life. So first to come, start even feeling that growth in the lower stomach. Last to go, what does that mean? That means after dieting and exercise, you feel like, okay, you're getting some nice arm muscle tone, you're getting some good leg muscle tone, but the midsection is just gripping on you and it's not letting go. So that is what I mean by first to come and last to go. So let me tell you a little bit of the insight behind why the body is reacting this way so we can learn how we can support it. We're going to get into the solution a little bit for you. So the reason why is because when the body sends high stress signals, it's like it's setting off an alarm bell all through the body. You couldn't hear it, but how that feels like for you is there's problems after problems after problems in your life. You you might have solved some problems, met some deadlines, but when you come home, there's administrative stuff that you have to do, taxes you have to pay, bills that you have to deal with. It just seems to be the day is just piling on, and the expectations is piling on, and there's so many people counting on you. For most of my clients, they actually don't even know they're stressed, if that makes sense. Stress seems to be such a, sign of admitting weakness. But what I'm talking about is not distress, like you're kind of losing it. What I'm saying is a biological hormone that's sent off when your physical body sense that, okay, you're dealing with a lot and there may be harder times coming up. So that's when the body turns on storage mode. It starts to store fat, turns sugar into fat, and even over time, break down those hard-earned lean muscle mass into fat because the body is storing up for hard times. Now, what is the solution for this issue? So if this is your dominant type, what is our solution? So if this is your major roadblock, let me tell you, we need to learn how to turn off that fire alarm that your body is sensing, okay? Because after you turn off that fire alarm and the body is in a state of relaxation and is feeling safe, it's finally able to shift how your body deal with energy coming in. And then almost for clients who mainly suffers from a stress belly, this is where when we see a change in their stress hormone levels, this is where the weight actually lift off of their bellies. Okay. Now, to give you some insight into how I can help you to address the stress belly, I take a more of a personalized approach when it comes to kind of getting to know where you are with your stress level, physiological stress, that's what I mean, to formulate a personalized plan for you. So number one stage is think about something just happened. I call it number one stage is alarm. Your body is going through crisis mode. There is deadline coming up. Maybe, unfortunately, there's some loved one is in crisis and is counting on you for your help. Maybe a beloved pet is in the hospital, okay, in alarm state. But this is some kind of short-term stress that after you get through that hurdle, you're going to be fine. But unfortunately, our body can progress with dealing with one issue. This is how life is for a lot of people, which is one thing happen, okay, and then another thing happen, and you feel like you're just sandwiched in between other people's demands and you cannot take a breather. You don't have the time to take care of yourself. So this is where, the crisis started from days and then it turns into weeks and turn into months. And that's where your body is becoming resistant to the stress. It's trying to resist the increased demand of the stress. Okay. And this is a lot of people fall into this category, is what we call your cells are marinating in chronically elevated stress hormones. We call it resistance stage. And in this stage, what a lot of people will experience are symptoms such as insomnia, or you may have decreased in sleep quality. You may wake up in the middle of the night. And some people will start to experience weight gain during this time. They may be able to look the same to everybody else, but they themselves know that there's a little fat apron start gripping on their lower stomach. So with the resistance stage, what I typically recommend is kind of a modulated, a buffer approach. Because when you're in that resistance stage, you burn through a lot of your body's resources. You might be prone to fatigue during the day, but on the other hand, you cannot get a good night's sleep. So my personalized approach for these individuals is more balance. Okay? We're going to uplift you whenever you need, and we want to calm you because your body is chronically overworked and overstressed. Now, if we let that resistance stage continue and our endocrine resources and nutritional reserves start depleting, we're headed to the depletion state. And this is where we're going to see some decline in stress hormones. And in some individuals, the body is showing high amounts of stress hormone produced, but that stress hormone actually become deactivated into something else and make the body gain even more weight, which that's a topic for another day. But in the depletion state, what happens is the stress hormone may be normal or maybe even be a little bit declined. So in this state where a lot of people will experience chronic fatigue, and maybe at this stage, the body is starting to experience giving you more warning signs. For example, there could be fatty liver start to show up. There could be slowing down of other endocrine system, such as thyroid. Your blood sugar may start to creep up, and infections, for example, chronic or recurring UTIs, yeast infections as well, start to pop up around the depletion state because your body is lacking the fighting resources to go on. So now, unfortunately, I actually don't see many people in the last stage, which is called the exhaustion stage. With the exhaustion stage, we're going to see loss of functioning or even the shriveling up of the gland that makes your stress hormones. And that's a more long-term kind of journey that we need to take on to help you bring you back to homeostasis. Most of my clients lies within the resistance stage and the depletion stage. And with the depletion stage, you would know the approach for the depletion stage. We're going to give you more nutrients, and we're going to give you supports to catch the crash of your stress hormones because you may be not making enough. So we want to catch that, buffer the crash. And we also want to replenish you, recharge you so that your body can eventually recuperate. You know what? I forgot. I also want to talk about the diet. The diet that I want to share with you guys for adrenal stress overall. So this is, if it doesn't fit you, that's okay, because it's more like, in general, I see this as more of the direction, but with individual clients, I can certainly adjust the approach to your needs. So in general speaking, with stress, what happened to your digestive system is the digestive juices start slowing down. So you're not digesting the food really well. So this is where you're prone to get stomach issues as well. The goal of helping with stress belly is we want to get you as much protein as your body is able to digest, okay? So that means animal protein or plant-based protein whatever that is best suited for your body. We're going to give you lots of good quality protein. And the key word here is to eat lighter. Okay. Lighter means reduction of stress, like food that's really spicy, because that's going to aggravate this digestive lining. Want to reduce things that are with full of stimulants, like high in sugar or high amounts of alcohol or high amounts of fat as well. We want to keep it light. That's the goal, but we keep it nutrient dense with protein, some healthy fats, and a good amount of fiber to keep your digestive system going strong. Okay. So there's a question here. It says, in the depletion stage, is there a possibility for more serious diseases to happen? Oh my God. I actually seen one before. I have a couple of clients in this stage. One of them ended up in the hospital because at the depletion stage, when the body ran out of cortisol, what that means is the body can no longer regulate its inflammation process. So worse things can happen for that client is the liver enzyme going through roof. Usually you want your liver enzyme to be below 30 something, but that client's liver enzyme went through 300 and literally his liver was turning into mush. So yeah, you don't, we hope to catch you before the exhaustion. So that's a very good question. Now the second one is the second type of challenge client experience is called the estrogen dip. The estrogen dip belly, what looks like is what I often joke with my clients is that it feels like whatever you do, your body is a magnet for fat, especially around your waist and on the tummy. Okay. So why is that? Is that one of the roles for estrogen is that estrogen can direct fat to places that probably desirable to you, to the breasts, to the hips and thighs. But when there's a dip in estrogen, namely usually during perimenopause and menopause, what happens here is there's a lowering of estrogen, so the body is not getting the estrogen it needs to signal fat storage in the places that you prefer. Instead, it goes to elsewhere. But the body is very smart. You've got some backup batteries for estrogen built in your body. And where that is in your adrenal glands. Remember the stress that we talked about earlier? Yeah. So that's where the stress hormones are produced. Your adrenal glands not only produce stress hormones to keep you going strong day to day, but is also your backup battery storage for your estrogen. So during this perimenopausal, menopausal shift, your body, rather than making estrogen from your ovaries, begin to stop making estrogen from the ovary and start making estrogen from your adrenals. That's your backup battery. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what happens is if I have adrenal fatigue? What if I'm resistant? What if I have adrenal depletion? Well, don't worry, okay? Your body wants to keep you safe. Very unfortunately, your body is going to produce a third backup option, which is fat. Yes. Fat is your body's last resort to make sure your estrogen is not going to jump off a cliff. That's very sad to hear and it's very unfair, isn't it? Because no matter how hard you exercise, if you have an estrogen dip, your body really is going to turn fat storage as the last resort to keep some resemblance of estrogen so that you don't lose your bones and like you can stay alive basically. Okay. So that is the estrogen dip. Another comment here I want to make is you might think, okay, I'm 27 or I'm 25, I'm 35, I'm very young, and this is probably not one of the considerations. So you would be wrong. Actually, when I look at the hormone profiles of some younger clients, I'm in shock. So even people in their early 30s and late 20s, I've noticed estrogen dip as one of the contributors to their stubborn belly fat. And the reason why is when the body is no longer supporting sufficient amounts of adrenal hormones, when the adrenals are crashing, it also takes away your reproductive hormones as well. So when the body is in a depleted state, it's not feeling like it's got extra resources for sexy hormones. So the strategy for the estrogen belly is taking a look at where you are life stage wise and giving the appropriate adrenal support to bring your adrenal back online for those batteries to come back online. So your body starts to get some of that estrogen back up. Another great tool that I often incorporate here is going to be phytoestrogens. So they're very different than hormone replacement. They're plant-based estrogens that have very weak estrogen properties. That's going to help buffer that estrogen crash and hope to give you a little bit of a balance and support there. Last point would be liver support. During this menopausal shift, perimenopausal stage, lots of clients start to have spiking in their lipid profile. That means cholesterol is going high, HDL start going high. They're wondering, I'm eating the same, I even eat better, I exercise more, but why is there so much fat? So the reason is because of what we actually discussed already. So the reason why is because fat is the body's last resort to keep the estrogen level not crashing. So the body is wired to make more fat. So what you're seeing in your blood is the body is escalating. It's escalating fat production to make sure that protects your estrogen level so that it doesn't crash. Is when the estrogen crashes, is going to have rippling effect on your health, including how you feel, how you go through your day-to-day, your cardiovascular health, and your bone health. So here is a picture here to illustrate from your mid-30s, let's say mid-30s, to actually period usually stop last period for most women. The average North American age for menopause is 51 years of age. So that 7 to 8 years before your last period, you go through a period of hormonal fluctuation. So this is where you still get your periods, but things are gradually shifting. And gradually the period will go from normal to from regular to irregular. And this is where I tend to see people need the most support around this area. So the next one is the third type is the thyroid belly. So if thyroid is the main block for you, what you're going to experience is slowed metabolism overall. So that means you feel like there's fluffy fat all around, including the belly, and there's a little bit more water retention. So when you have a slow than optimal thyroid, what happens is your body turns on battery saving mode. So why your body turns on battery saving mode? So let me give you some examples. Stress, trauma. So trauma including the different types of trauma, including chronic trauma, including um, emotional trauma, including physical trauma as well. To give you some examples of what I see typically in my practice, trauma can mean the loss of someone. Trauma can mean being in a very abusive relationship. Okay, so that is chronic trauma. And trauma can also mean a physical trauma, like a motor vehicle accident. And trauma can be a good thing as well. Unfortunately, when women go through pregnancy and childbirth, that is a form of trauma. A lot of thyroid issues start to emerge after childbirth. And infections. So that means not even the like severe infections, but some people have gut infections, low-grade chronic gut infections. They have too much candida. They have too many bad microbes in their gut. We're gonna get there in a little bit about the bloated belly. And they can, the microbes can release toxins themselves, but toxins can also come from the environment, like from pesticides, herbicides, chemtrails, that kind of thing. It accumulates in our body and send the body in a recuperation state because can't deal with that anymore. That's what the body is thinking. So the solution strategy for the thyroid type is we're going to teach the body or help the body to turn off the battery saving mode by giving the body the nutrients it needs to build as building blocks for thyroid hormones. And we want to go into the root cause, what that is for you, whether to identify what stressor you have, uh, to see what kind of gut imbalances you may have, and any accumulation of toxins such as pesticides and heavy metals. We want to address that root cause for your body to feel safe enough to come out of that recuperation mode. Yes, kind of like when you charge your phone, your phone turns into give you that little warning and it turns yellow, the battery sign turns yellow. And when you charge your phone enough, with enough charge, it goes green. So that is exactly what we want to do with the thyroid type. So now you might be wondering, okay, so what are the nutrients involved? So if you're listening, you probably won't see this, but if you tune into the recorded slides, you're going to see the thyroid hormone is more than what we think about. It's more than the iodine, it's more than the iodized salt in the seaweed. To actually make a good amount of healthy thyroid hormones, you're going to need your B vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, zinc, selenium, magnesium, vitamin A, good amounts of essential fatty acids, and exercise. Another thing to note is thyroid hormone. If you actually, I'm not sure if people ever get a full thyroid panel done because it's not really common practice for at least doctors in Canada to actually look at thyroid in its complete panel. We usually just look at the thyroid number as in TSH. And the standard range, what we see typically and this range can differ, the standard range where your doctor is looking at can differ based on your state, your province, where you live, because that's more reflects, it is a medical diagnostic standard, but it's also a population-based standard. It doesn't mean that you're super healthy if you don't go outside of the range. It's just saying that you have normal level of thyroid function based on the data that's available. And you're going to see on the right-hand side, the optimal range, okay? The optimal range reflects what is the body number gonna look like? What is your lab number look at when it's going to be working in its optimal stage? Okay, so now number 4, we're going to talk about my actually out of everything, I think I like this one the most, and I feel so sorry for you if this is the case for you. It's like, your body is playing a magic trick on you. With the bloated belly, if you carry a bloated belly, it might play this magic trick on you. It disappears in the morning and the jeans fit in really nice. And your jeans fit just perfect in the morning. But gradually after the first meal, second meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, then the belly start to come out. And by the end of the day, you feel that you need to escape and you need to rip those jeans off. And thank goodness, let's get into our pajamas. So this is caused by gas buildup throughout the day. And why that happens is because there's an imbalance of microbiome in the gut. That means there's more of bad guys, less of the good guys. What it means is these bad guys is going to eat what you eat. So whatever comes down the pipeline, they're going to gobble it up and spit out toxins that makes your brain fuzzy. And on the other hand, it also creates a lot of gas, like fermentation. Not sure if you ever open a bottle of natural, like naturally fermented kombucha, water kefir, you pop it open, or okay, apple cider or champagne. You know what I'm talking about. So those things are naturally fermented. You open it up, there's a build of gas. So this is exactly what happened in your intestines. So a person who suffer from the bloated belly may or may not release a lot of gas. So they may not be farting all the time, but they still feel this uncomfortable distension that builds throughout the day. So in this case, I think I'm really motivated to help you here because I really think, it's just air, right? It's just air and we can get this done. Yeah. So what we're going to do is to address the imbalance of microbiome by and helping with your digestion. So oftentimes people think, okay, I'm just going to take some probiotic. But here's what I think, okay? So probiotic is a market out there. I feel like, maybe there is a little bit of over promise of what it can do. People find us as being the silver bullet. Okay, it can help you lose weight, it can help with digestion, it can help with regularity. What I like to take the approach of is to see what works best for you. Maybe you're going to need to utilize some plants that's going to help you manage the overgrowth of the bad bacteria, depending on what is going on in your gut, what is personalized in your situation. I find that finding the right kind of nourishment for those gut flora is also important. I love fermented foods, but unfortunately, some people with this issue specifically with a bloated belly, that fermented foods is going to make them explode because they're going to create more gas with those fermented foods. Overall, I love fermented foods. Where I'm coming at is I'm going to help you find out what is a suitable plan for you to start creating that beautiful garden from within you. So creating the balance, so remove some of the bad guys and start introducing slowly, so give it some love and patience so that you can start building on that beautiful, diverse garden within the gut. So we're not going to start pummeling down a ton of fermented foods and probiotic. In my experience, at least, that's not the right way to go for most of my clients. I find that we need to clean things up a little bit and gradually introduce the fermented foods and fiber. And we're going to choose what you like, right? To see what is going to be enjoyable and sustainable for you. And we're going to do that one step at a time. Moving on. The final type is going to be the liver belly. So the liver belly, let me describe to you what that looks like. It sits a little bit higher in the middle part of your abdomen. Your liver is on the right side, um, underneath your rib cage on the right hand side. So it's going to be a little bit higher up than the rest of the belly. What happens there is the liver start to accumulate fat inside of itself, inside the organ itself, and around it. So this can happen whether or not if you drink alcoholic beverages or if you don't. So alcoholic and non-alcoholic fatty liver is actually both will present in a higher up belly, like very hard fat that kind of stays in the midsection. So let's talk about non-alcoholic. So if you don't drink or you only like you know for sure that that's not why you're having a fatty liver concern, it's because too much sugar. So if you have too much refined carbohydrates and sugar, for example, and fructose. So eating too much fruits, okay? Snacking on fruits, thinking is healthy. So eating lots of fruits every day or very often. There is a study that's saying people that who consumes more than 2 servings of fruits per day have higher incidence of fatty liver because what fruits have is fructose. It's a special kind of sugar that turns into fat very readily inside of your liver. So this is sugar turns into fat and start gripping and choking on the liver. So in this case, what we want to support you with is to cleanse and decongest. So think about cleaning house, um, kind of liquefying those stuck fat, and we kind of remove that. And where the body naturally removes that is through regular bowel movement. So if you already find there's some bowel irregularity or feel it's harder to have a good bowel movement, then this is going to be a great place to start for you. So diet-wise, if you carry a liver belly, what we're going to focus on is going to give you lots of bitter foods because oftentimes it's the opposite flavor that helps. So fatty liver is caused by too much fruits, too much sugar. But bitter foods tend to activate and kind of wake up the liver and help the liver to remove the toxins. So same thing with the herbs that's going to help the liver are often bitter herbs like milk thistle, dandelion root, and artichoke. All right, so that is for all 5 types of roadblocks my clients experience. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're looking at this video and want to chat more about what is going to be most helpful for you, feel free to schedule a free discovery session using the barcode, using the QR code on the screen here, or head on to taliasagewellness.com and click the book an appointment button. You can claim your free discovery session. And if you're already a client, I am happy to gift another 15 minutes, tag on to the next session, and I'll chat with you more about your what you have learned and what you want to know more from today's discussion. Thank you.